Hello, I'm Adam Bird. I am a partner at Dexia. I'm also the director of strategy and in charge of the copywriting and content departments. And I'm here to bring you today's masterclass on leveraging customer insights for strategic marketing, of course. Today, we're going to define what they are. We're going to explain their importance in strategic marketing, different techniques for collecting them, pitfalls of qualitative versus quantitative, and some other details that'll hopefully be relevant to you that you can bring back to your marketing and your business. First, let's just start off with a definition. Bear with me for a minute here because everyone knows what customer insights are, clearly, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Customer insights is critical understandings of who our audience are, what they need, what they want, these are different things, what motivates them, what kind of emotions they feel around our products or services, and what kind of emotions they want to feel around our products and services. All of these things collectively together represent customer insights. And this is, as a group, an incredibly important tool for marketing because good marketing requires good customer insights. Great marketing requires brilliant customer insights. Let's begin by identifying the different types of customer insights. First, there's probably the most common one, which is demographic insights. How old are they? Basic demographic information. Think like the census form in some ways. Next, we have psychographic insights. These are insights into the psychology of their minds, how they think about the products or services that we're marketing, what's going on through their brains, very literally our audience psychology. And the next we have behavioral insights. Behavioral insights are insights that look a lot like the psychological ones, psychographic insights, but it's not as much about what's going through their mind as much as how are they behaving, what are they doing, and what are those underlying motivations, what are those things that are instigating, propelling, inspiring their behavior. Then there's transactional insights, and this is particularly important for e-commerce clients. Transactional insights are what have they bought in the past? What do we anticipate that they're going to buy in the future? What are they looking at right now? What are the transactions literally that have gone on and the insights that we can derive from that? Then there's geographic insights. This is an important one for all marketing. Where are the customers? Very literally, where are the customers? The geography of it, which cities, which regions, which states, which zip codes. There's a bunch of different ways to narrow that in. Then there's also engagement insights. What are they engaging with? What kind of content, what kind of channels, what kind of platforms? And then the things that we can derive from those engagements. Feedback and satisfaction insights. This is the surveys, this is the interviews that are given to people, finding out their feedback and satisfaction with whatever product or service it is that we're marketing. There's sentiment insights, which is very literally how are they feeling about our product or service, or about the category, or about the events or situations that surround their need for those products or services. There's competitive insights. We have competitors in the marketplace. Who are they and what can we learn from them? And then finally, there's predictive insights. It's taking some sort of past historical data, it could be transactional, it could be engagement, it could be any one of these other insights, and then it's doing an analysis on those to try to predict what are these people going to do in the future. The thing that's really important to note, every type of customer insight carries an inherent bias, blind spots, and compromises. There is no perfect insight. Every single one has its failures, and so doing good marketing often requires layering different types of insights together, almost like a Venn diagram, if you will, to find that sweet spot in the middle where you get to the good stuff that creates the good marketing. Let's take a moment and go over some of the different techniques for collecting and analyzing customer data. First, there's surveys and questionnaires. We all know this, we've all gotten them. Most of us have probably sent them out before. This is a great way to capture quantitative data. Then there's interviews and focus groups. Qualitative, this is also probably one of the most go-to types of collection and analysis that we've got. Then there's social media monitoring and web analytics. These are both quantitative tools. They're fantastic for understanding what people are doing when they're engaging with the different platforms. And these can be used to also blend and overlap with other types of data analysis like sentiment analysis or behavioral analysis. Another useful data collection point is customer feedback and reviews. This is social proof. Other prospects are looking at these things, so you should be looking at them too. There's also transactional data analysis. If you're e-commerce and you're on a platform like Shopify, then you have so much different quantitative data that you can look at to understand and potentially even predict the kinds of sales and the kinds of engagements and the marketing that's going to drive them that you need. There's also customer support interaction. This is a great qualitative tool. Learning what people are asking about, the kinds of problems and pain points they have, the stuff that motivates them so much that they will actually reach out, overcome apathy, and connect. Can be a very useful qualitative point. And then there's email marketing analytics and geolocation data. Back on that quantitative side, both of them are fantastic ways to understand what kind of behaviors people have, where can you find them. Incredibly useful tools for building out the spreadsheets that can inform an awful lot of marketing decisions. And then you have competitor analysis, which is often using SEO-related tools like SEMrush, but also other platforms, sentiment analysis, predictive analytics, both of which are being radically transformed by AI because these large language models or natural language processing models are really, really good at taking all of the words and language that people are posting online, or taking some of the numbers that are being put in spreadsheets from transaction histories or geolocation data or any other blend of things, and then predicting where the behavior is going to be, where those customers can be found, how we can best reach them. These are all very useful and important tools for building out audience insights, but ultimately you need to look carefully at your niche, at your brand, at your audience, and you need to identify the gaps that you have within your journey so that you can best understand what are the tools that you need to develop the insights that you need to develop the strategies you need to develop the marketing that is going to be successful. And I just want to remind you that if this was easy, everyone would do it. Let's take a moment now and let's talk about analyzing the customer data. We've talked about the different types, we've talked about some of the different methods for collecting it. Great, but now you have it, whether it's qualitative or quantitative. What are you going to do with it? Well, one of the first things that we like to do is we like to create detailed customer personas to better understand and address their needs, and to help us also better address and understand the data we're collecting. When we understand the customer and we build that documentation, and building the documentation is a fantastic exercise to make sure that you understand the customer. Do you really understand them if you can't write clearly about them and share your understanding with other people? Going through that exercise puts you in a position where now when you're gathering actionable data, you can segment it appropriately because you understand the audience and the ways that it needs to be segmented specifically for your audience. And then once you've done that, you can start looking for patterns and trends in the data. Again, whether it's qualitative or quantitative. There's a wide number of AI tools that you can be prompting with to try to find some of those patterns. But in many cases, it's also just a matter of looking at it and reading it and using good old-fashioned human intuition and engagement to understand what's really going on here. What does it mean? Once you've gathered your data together, you've segmented it appropriately according to your marketing personas, and you've started to look for those patterns and trends within the data, you can start making more higher level decisions. Do we want to apply predictive analytics to forecast future behaviors and trends? Or do we want to just go with what we've got and make some decisions so that we can move forward and gather more data? It's okay to have imperfect data, and it's okay to not have all of the modeling complete. Oftentimes in marketing, the most important thing is to do something. Begin something new, get it out in the world, see how it performs, collect data about it, and then make it better. Or kill it and move on to the next thing. This is, I think, an often overlooked strategy. We want to make sure that we do everything so perfectly that we forget that doing something is better than doing nothing at all. And when we're doing something, we can gather data about it and determine how good it is. One of the first things that you're going to want to do once you've gathered these insights and analysis and you understand the patterns is you want to also correlate them to the tactics that you're thinking of using. If you know who your audience is, then you have a good idea of where to find them. So wherever they are, what are the insights that you can gather that are going to inform the messaging, inform the content, inform the timing, all these things that are going to work on the channels that are already getting in front of them. A nice way to really approach this is to create a customer journey map. You can literally put it on a whiteboard on the wall, write it out. Like make a map. Where do they first meet your company or your brand? And then once they're aware of the brand, how do they deepen in consideration with it? How do they become more related to it, understand it better? And then what are those critical insights that they need to have in their head in order to make a purchase decision? And then how are you getting those in front of them? The visualizations that you get from creating a good customer journey map is not just a way to enhance the customer experience, but it's a way to look at the insights and analysis that you've generated and find where it actually fits on the map. We know from our customer experience surveys that they really, really like finding us in Google Shopping. Okay, well then let's put that on the map. And then what are we doing to help drive more traffic to our Google Shopping page? You can all sorts of different ways of looking at that journey map. And once you've got that experience written out, you can then take all these different analytics that you've developed and you can look to see, okay, this insight goes here, this insight goes here. Don't try to solve the problem all at once. Take it apart into small pieces. These are the different steps they go through. This is what we've learned relative to each of these steps. You can also do a little bit of backwards induction, where you can look at each of those steps, do that customer journey map first, and then use that to inform the methodology that you're using for creating customer insights, and then leveraging them back on the customer journey map. This is an incredibly useful way to personalize your marketing efforts so that you're based specifically on customer data to get the increased conversion rates and increased engagement. People want to feel special. So how do we help them feel special with our marketing? How do we tailor it so that it's clearly for them and not for everyone? Then once you've got that journey map done and you've understanding of the insights and where they apply at different parts of the journey, and you have a better understanding of what you can do, start to implement these things, but create a feedback loop, right? Refine and improve the strategy over time. Depending on your budget and depending on your traffic, maybe you need to be revisiting your analytics on a monthly basis, maybe on a weekly basis. Maybe for some of you who are spending a lot of money on the daily for your e-commerce, you need to be looking at it on a daily basis or even hourly. But getting those feedback loops running gets in a better position to be able to do incremental improvement that really defines great marketing. Not by being amazing out of the gate, but by snowballing into something bigger and better and bigger and better over time. Time is probably one of the most crucial misrepresented elements when it comes to creating audience insights. We need time, whether it's qualitative or quantitative, to create those understandings, time to collect the data that informs those understandings, time to use those insights in the actual implementation of marketing to understand if it was accurate or not, and what we need to do to adapt it and improve it. So I want to tell you a quick story about the real-world application of customer insights and analytics when it comes to some of the work that we've done. For one of our clients, a large custom home builder in Grand Rapids, Michigan, we've been working with them for a number of years, and we've been running digital ads and a number of other marketing tactics with pretty steady, stable results. But the customer came to us and they said, we want more and we want better, and we want to change and possibly grow our budgets in order to do so. So we sat down with, I want to say probably about 6 or 7 years of historic data on their marketing, and we did a pretty in-depth analysis. And again, this is a custom home builder, so these homes are quite expensive. They have a fairly long consideration cycle, and there's a high burden of credibility and proof that is required for someone to choose them as their home builder. So we did a blend of both qualitative and quantitative analysis. We met with members of the sales team, and we ran effectively a focus group with the sales team, asking about the patterns of desires, problems, motivations, pain points, the emotions that they feel, the emotions they long to feel, all these different things that we could get from that team because of the engagement they have talking with and spending time with our target audience. Then we went through the quantitative data that we'd collect through effectively 7 years of paid media campaigns and social media. And we paid attention to what are the demographics of the people that are converting? Where are they coming from? We looked at their geographic data. We also looked at the behavioral information. What pages are they drawn to? How does that tie in with the qualitative data that we earned from the sales team? Connecting it to the problems and pain points that they have so that we could really, as fully as possible, understand the audience. And one of the things that we learned about this home builder was that an awful lot of their buyers were not coming from West Michigan. They were coming from markets outside of the state. We had good zip code data, geographic data, and a couple of other data points that are proprietary that were very useful in helping us understand where they were and gave us the option to do incredibly narrow targeted campaigns on social media platforms specifically to these very narrow audiences. And it worked gangbusters. The amount of business that came to the client increased by probably close to 50% because we were making ads that were specifically touching on the experiences and on the desires and on the behaviors of the target audience. Then it was not just the target audience here in town, but it was the target audience in locations where there were a lot of people who were moving to Grand Rapids. And so that right person at the right time with the right message did wonders for the performance of their marketing, and it wound up being transformative for our client. But it required a deep analysis of the audience, of the customer, and understanding everything we could about them in order to change on a pretty fundamental level the ways that we were approaching the different campaigns. And we were only able to get it because we had a lot of data that we could collect, that we had collected over a long period, and we combined that with qualitative insights that we gleaned from the sales team. Over and over again, we find it's that blend of qualitative and quantitative that really unlocks marketing success. This is a hard thing to do though, because it's two different skill sets. And qualitative is also harder to defend the decisions that we make in the marketing. When it's quantitative, we can always tell the client, look at the graph, look at the chart, look at the numbers. The numbers are telling us what happens. And it's easier for everyone to get behind it. But so often it's that qualitative side that gives us the direction that we need to know where to inquire deeper, where to start to gather the data, or what data that is that we want to look at. It's that hybrid of the two that really makes things work. Understanding your audience and developing insights into who they are, what motivates them, what drives them, what their needs are, what their wants are, the kinds of behaviors they have, all of these different things. This is how we win at marketing. But it's not always easy, and because it's not always easy is usually when you know you're on the good path, because if it was easy, then everyone would do it. So look carefully at your brand and the audiences that you have and you're marketing to. Start to do some journey mapping, build out some personas, and look at the data that you have available and start filling in the holes. You have all of this qualitative data, great. So where do you need numbers? Or you have all of this quantitative data, spreadsheets on top of spreadsheets, great. How much time have you spent actually talking with target audience or people who engage closely with them? Start filling in those holes and understanding those biases that you're working with according to the different types of analysis that you're doing. And then as you do that, you're going to see the patterns and you're going to start developing the insights and understandings that are going to unlock truly great, high-performing marketing for you and your brand. If you have any questions about leveraging customer insights, or want to better understand qualitative versus quantitative, or just in general want to have a resource to help guide you through these things, you can always reach out to us through our website, and you can always explore our other resources. We have a really robust blend of resources to support both quantitative and qualitative approaches, because the reality is that every business and every audience is different, and you need to do what works for you.